Communities' self-determination and safeguarding traditional knowledge, practices, and innovation systems are central to an initiative to create a community-conserved area in the sacred valley of the Incas in Pisac, in the southern Peruvian Andes. Under this initiative, the 8,000 villagers of the communities of Amaru, Pampayacta, Cuyo Grande, Sacaca, Paruparu, and Chaguaitire have agreed to bring together the 8,661 hectares in their 6 communal land titles and manage them jointly for their collective benefit. This effort is supported by the Quechua Aymara Association for Sustainable Livelihoods, Andes, a Cusco-based indigenous NGO, and the Peru program of the Sustaining Local Food Systems, Agrobiodiversity and Livelihoods program of IIED. Together we are developing an innovative landscape-based conservation model by adapting traditional landscape management practices and indigenous knowledge systems to recreate a holistic approach for the conservation of Andean biocultural diversity and ecosystems. Since Inca times, the character of the Sacred Valley landscape has remained essentially agricultural. The Andean mountains are characterized by verticality and diversity. They exhibit tremendous variation in vegetation, soils, and climate over relatively short distances, creating significant reservoirs of species and ecosystem diversity. The Pisac Mountains harbor numerous endemic and threatened species, valuable medicinal and food plants, important biological corridors, and sanctuaries for plants and animals. They are also sacred landscapes where the respect for Pachamama or Mother Earth and the mountain gods Apus continue to be important elements of the Quechua culture in the Andes. The Potato Park, located about 45 kilometers northeast of Cusco, is a recognized microcenter of origin for potatoes, with more than 2,300 cultivars of potato from a global total of 4,000 being grown in the region. Areas bordering the park link the agricultural landscape with high mountain native forests, grasslands, and wetlands, all of which host a rich variety of endemic plant and animal species. By maintaining the agricultural character of this Andean landscape, the communities are protecting the area's rich biodiversity, which includes native plant genetic resources as well as wild relatives of domesticated plant and animal species. In addition, this strategy is helping to protect mountain habitats and Quechua cultural sites, strengthening local livelihoods and food systems, and articulating sound poverty alleviation strategies and policies to the community's conservation goals. For Quechua peoples, a major factor affecting the conservation of Andean biodiversity and landscapes is the fragmentation and erosion of traditional systems of agriculture and resource management. Such erosion includes not only the erosion of genes, species, and soils, but also the erosion of indigenous, eco-specific knowledge and a weakening of the local institutions that can assure stewardship and sustainable management of Andean ecosystems. Communities must also deal with the introduction of new and proven mechanical techniques, including biotechnology and transgenics, which lend themselves to biopiracy and control by high-tech global oligopolies through an ever more lawless patent system. National policies in food, agriculture, and the environment ignore the value of indigenous institutions and the biodiversity over which they are the traditional stewards. Andean crops and livestock are being replaced by other foods, crops, and animals, and habitats are being converted to uses that are less sustainable and less amenable to local management. The growth of global market systems has replaced traditional patterns of germplasm exchange. Established in 1998, the Potato Park has gained extensive national and international recognition for its innovative methods of conserving native genetic diversity, as well as the knowledge associated with the sustainable use and management of genetic resources. It was conceived as a pilot for a larger initiative in landscape conservation in the Andes region, the Ruta Sagrada del Cóndor Huiracocha. The key element of this model is support of indigenous institutions for stewardship, community-based resource management, and affirmation of local rights. The 6 communities in the Potato Park have formed a Parks Association, Asociación de Comunidades del Parque de la Papa, in charge of the day-to-day governance of the park. Communities are organized into local learning groups for analyzing and studying local phenomena. Traditional knowledge has been integrated into all conservation activities. This ensures that local people exercise leadership and control over the project, and that any application of Western science and technology responds to locally identified cultural needs.
Tendrá la madre tierra.
Andes, IIED, and the park authorities work hand in hand to develop alternative economic activities based on sustainable use of the agroecosystem's goods and services, including agroecotourism, marketing of native crops as health foods, establishing local pharmacies and processing of medicinal plants, video collective, native potatoes group, local gastronomy group, and local barefoot technicians. Recently, an agreement was signed between the Potato Park and the International Potato Center for the repatriation of native potatoes from CIP's gene bank to the park communities. Through this agreement, indigenous Quechua peoples have repatriated around 400 varieties of potatoes back to their communities and are regaining their rights to biological resources and associated traditional knowledge, as well as control over the potential benefits derived from their use. The experience of community participation in the establishment and management of a community-conserved area based on agrobiodiversity is providing valuable insight into the process of adapting traditional management practices and indigenous knowledge systems into a comprehensive and sui generis plan for the conservation of local biodiversity and the goods and services of mountain ecosystems. Human well-being and cultural identity are central to the work of the Potato Park, which has incorporated Quechua values such as solidarity, equilibrium, and duality. These values are important to the management of genetic resources and landscapes and are also the basis of customary laws. The use of traditional knowledge in biodiversity and landscape management, for example in plant breeding, irrigation, and weather forecasting, ensures that Quechua culture survives. The Potato Park model is being established along with other community-conserved areas, including alpaca parks, sacred parks, and Andean grain parks. The promotion of material and information exchange between the communities involved will strengthen indigenous identities and improve economic, nutritional, and general social well-being. Peruvian authorities and institutions such as CONAM, INRENA, INIA, and the International Potato Center, CIP, recognize the value of the scheme and its implications for agrobiodiversity conservation of heirloom species, and are represented in a working group studying legal options for the formal recognition of the Potato Park. By understanding and supporting strategies that enable indigenous communities To recover and strengthen their traditional institutions and social mechanisms in the face of socioeconomic and ecological changes, the 6 communities of the Potato Park have achieved tangible livelihoods improvements. The Potato Park has provided not only a new system for conserving and restoring the rich genetic diversity of potatoes, but also restitution of rights, dignity, and hope for the future of indigenous peoples in the Andes.